Hello, and welcome to Comics with Jose. My name is Jose. I love comics, and I want to share them with you. Follow me on Twitter at Art of J Velez, Instagram at jvelez622. I share comics that I'm working on, as well as a couple doodles and drawings that I do for fun. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe if you like this channel. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me as I talk to you about one of my most favorite subjects, which is comic books. Look at this beautiful cover by Perez. I was going to complete my introduction, but oh my goodness. It's very difficult when you're looking at this absolutely amazing, amazing, amazing cover by one and only George Perez. Absolutely amazing. So we might as well get started. Um, I just love comic books. I've always wanted to share them with people. So I said, why not do a little YouTube channel? I do this for fun. I'm not a professional. I am just someone that loves comic books and have read a lot of comic books. And so I'm just going to kind of just let people see why I love comic books so much. And George Perez is absolutely positively one of the greatest. George Perez died last year of cancer, or depending when you're listening to this video, it was on 2022 that he, or yeah, 2022 when he died. So it's been a little over a year now. And Crisis on Infinite Earth was my first exposure to him. I've gone back now and gotten some of his Teen Titans and, some things, but for the most part, I have part of his Wonder Woman run, mostly the issues that he drew. Really have to tell you that when he doesn't draw it, I really don't care much for his for the story. I'm here for Perez's art, and so I'm here to show you stuff that he drew. He's a huge influence on a lot of my favorite artists like Todd McFarlane, Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee. I mean, he's so clean and so detailed. You can see him draw so many things here. Now, this series here, as you can see, he probably had to put more, probably did a lot of roughs. So he had several inkers that were basically finishers where he would only draw part of it. So, so now we're in issue 10, I believe. This cover. He really did really well on these covers. So, comic books, I started collecting comic books when I was in elementary school. I did not know any English, and my grandfather uh, was buying me these comic books in hopes that I would learn English. I was born and grew up in Puerto Rico, and I he would bring these home, and it worked. I learned English. There was no YouTube back then, so there was no going in there trying to learn another language. They put me in school and English courses, and was able to learn what they were saying because so that's why I look at pictures so much. Is because when I learned how to when I first got these, before I could learn how to read in English, I had to just kind of make up my own story and just kind of piece things together. Comic books is a combination of art and story. Um, so when I first got these, I kept them and I kept looking at them and looking and looking and looking and looking and looking, but I it wasn't until much later that I learned how to actually read um, read comics, or read English. So, and I learned English just so I could read comic books. So comic books is a huge part of my life, and I thank my grandfather, may he also rest in peace, for introducing me to this absolutely wonderful world. I am mostly a mark for amazing artists. So I read a lot of stuff with like Todd McFarlane. I read a lot of stuff by, when I say Todd McFarlane, I don't mean like his new stuff, like some of those the Spawn issues of now. Um, when I say Todd McFarlane, it's the stuff that he draws that I read, or at least look at. It's not I if he doesn't draw Spawn, which he basically doesn't anymore, I'm not interested. I'm only interested in the stuff that these great artists do. And so Mark Silvestri's the same way. I recently was just finished the Mark Silvestri Batman and Joker limited series. Um, and again, I have no idea. Even even at my age now, I'm almost 50. Even at my age, I still don't read some of these things because I'm not interested in with some of these artists. I am more interested in looking at their beautiful artwork more than I am into the kind of stories that they're telling. If I want to read something, I read Ed Brubaker, I read Warren Ellis, I read Brian Bendis, I um, read actual writers who tell good, solid yarns. I don't really, I don't really read, with some of these artists that just don't, um, they're not really writers. So a lot of times they'll write something, but it's mostly something cool for them to draw. I love Jason Aaron, um, Donnie Cates, um, Kurt Busiek's Astro City is absolutely great. Um, so Kurt Busiek, and so we're now heading to our final issue here. Let's linger on this cover. Look at this cover. My goodness gracious. I believe that this is a double-sized issue. Beautiful stuff. So, like I said, I mostly read when I want to read a comic book. Neil Gaiman, Peter David, just a huge mark for a lot of well-known writers. Um, Matt Fraction is another one. His Iron Man run is absolutely one of my most favorite runs that there are. But um, I don't read Todd McFarlane. I look at his pictures. I don't read Jim Lee. I look at his pictures. Wildcats. I have no idea what's happened in Wildcats. I bought every issue that he did, and once he quit drawing it, I left. But I discovered Travis. I think it's Cherished, and he was really really good. So I went back to Wildcats. Um, Throughout Image, I discovered David Finch, who is another incredible penciler. David Finch is also one of my favorite. He's kind of a Mark Silvestri clone. Um, I love Brian Boland. There's a lot of art. I like a lot of artists and I like a lot of writers. Um, and comic books are great when it's both written well and drawn well. But um, Crisis is a book where just a lot of stuff happens. So if you don't read it, it's okay. Just enjoy George Perez's pretty pictures. So we're this would be kind of like the climax of the of the whole thing. This is the final issue. And after this, there's one DC universe. Till years later when they decide to make some more and split it all over again. But George Perez got to draw great stories, so anytime George Perez you can get him to draw something, that's great. And so we're kind of now here with everything just kind of, here's Wally West becoming the Flash, and everything kind of just going into one, and the end. So look at all these panels here. So George Perez was, what can I say? He was a great drawer. He will be severely missed, and I hope you enjoyed this quick glance of Crisis. I did issues 1 through 12 broken down into 3 parts, so catch the other 2 parts on the videos here. So like and subscribe. Thanks for listening. Bye.